li immaġini traduzzjoni tagħna introduċu għall-Ewropa. Il-tema ta' din is-sena hija Translator Skills and Employability, però fil-każ tagħna is-suġġett iddeċidejna li għandu jkun biex niftehmu it-traduzzjoni għall-integrazzjoni li taqa' pjuttost taħt din il-kappa, però ipprovajna nagħmluha aktar attwali għax illum il-ġurnata biex dwar ta' nies minn pajjiżi differenti mid-dinja kollha. Il-traduzzjoni u l-interpretazzjoni huma kunċett li qegħdin jieħdu tifsira ġdida li dejjem qed titwessa. Jiena pereżempju kont vera interessata fit-tema tal-emozzjonijiet fil-traduzzjoni għax aħna żgur li fit-traduzzjoni tagħna fl-Unjoni Ewropea ma nippruvawx nittrasmettu emozzjonijiet. Il-traduzzjoni tagħna huma traduzzjoni pjuttost non formulajġi ma ħafna drabi huma traduzzjonijiet li jsegwu ħafna regoli. Ġifieri għalija din hija tema interessanti ħafna. Nisandum, ġifieri grazzi kollha tal-li ġejtu, nispera li jsibu din l-attività fiha.
Nisimgħu intervent żgħir mill-Inizjamed. Azzopardi, grazie ħafna.
Onorevoli, mistiedna speċjali, sinjuri, l-għodwa tajba. Se ngħid kelmtejn bil-Malti l-ewwel dwar il-ħidma ta' Inizjamed imbagħad kelmtejn ta' merħba bl-Ingliż. I will first say a few words in Maltese about Inizjamed before briefly introducing today's conference in English. Il-missjoni ta' Inizjamed hija unikwota li ġeddet l-espressjoni artistika f'Malta fid-dawl ta' għarfien aħjar tal-varjetà kulturali teżisti f'pajjiżna fir-reġjun tal-Mediterran u lilin. Fid-dawl ta' din il-missjoni, it-traduzzjoni letterarja tinsab fil-qalba ta' ħidmietna bħala mezz ewlieni ta' tiġdid. Għax hekk il-letteratura hija qatt ta' lingwa li qed titkellem magħha nfisha, mela it-traduzzjoni terġa' hija qatt ta' lingwi li qed jitkellmu ma' xulxin. F'dan is-sens, it-traduzzjoni hija qatt kreattiv bi żvolġiment doppju. L-ewwel fil-lingwa oriġinali, imbagħad fil-lingwa ta' traduzzjoni. Imma lilin mill-estetizzazzjoni ta' diskors dwar it-traduzzjoni, hemm ukoll raġunijiet pratiċi għal konferenzi bħal dawn huma importanti. Ftit jimilu l-Google nida headphones ġodda li kapaċi jitraduċu 40 lingwa. Din il-konferenza trid tittieħed ukoll fil-kuntest ta' prodotti bħal dawn il-Babel Fish tat-teknoloġija u fil-kuntest tal-internet tal-oġġetti. L-implikazzjonijiet ta' dawn l-iżviluppi huma game changing mhux biss għall konsumaturi imma wkoll għal ħaddiema fil-qasam ta' traduzzjoni. Huwa wkoll f'dan il-kuntest li naqdu l-interessi tagħna jiġifieri ta' Inizjamed u tad-Direttorat Ġenerali ta' Traduzzjoni fil-dan il-Kummissjoni Ewropea billi l-esperjenza ta' traduzzjoni għandha ħafna in komuni mal-esperjenza umana. Il-konferenza ta' sentejn ilu fitxet li twassal lill-udjenzi tagħna dewqiet minn tradizzjonijiet differenti ta' traduzzjoni f'Malta. Dakinhar, il-konferenza kienet intitolata it-Tradizzjoni ta' Traduzzjoni, għax l-istorja ta' traduzzjoni f'pajjiżna ma bdietx mad-dħul ta' Malta fl-Unjoni Ewropea. Is-sena ta' wara jiġifieri is-sena l-oħra, ħarisna lejn l-iżviluppi maġlin li qed isiru f'dan il-qasam u l-konferenza kienet intitolata Dimensjonijiet ġodda fit-traduzzjoni f'Malta. Din is-sena, il-konferenza toqrob aktar minn qabel lejn l-aspett uman u tħares lejn it-traduzzjoni bħala għodda ta' inkontru u ta' integrazzjoni, mezz li jġib lil bnedmin flimkien. Dan imur ferm lil minn diskors utopiku li jibda bit-teorija u jispiċċa b'aktar u aktar teorija. Dan huwa diskors li nistgħu ninkwadrawh b'mod fatwali ħafna. Sa sentejn ilu kien hemm madwar 600 student u studenta fl-iskejjel tal-gvern li la jafu l-Malti u lanqas l-Ingliż. Ġimagħtejn ilu, il-gvern ħabbar il-pjanijiet għal-lezzjonijiet tal-lingwa u l-kultura għall-immigranti, inklużi ċittadini Ewropej. U daqs xahar ilu, il-Kunsill Lokali ta' Birżebbuġa qassam avviżi dwar il-ġbir tal-iskart bi traduzzjonijiet bażiċi għall-Ingliż u għall-Arbi. F'dan is-sens, it-traduzzjoni mhix biss it-tiġdid u l-iżvolġiment tal-espressjoni tagħna, imma wkoll ta' dak li aħna u dak li nistgħu nkunu. On behalf of the cultural NGO Inizjamed, I welcome you to this third annual conference on translation in Malta, held in partnership with the Directorate General of Translation within the European Commission. Inizjamed's mission is to contribute towards, and I quote, the regeneration of cultural and artistic expression in the Maltese Islands, and to actively promote a greater awareness of the cultures of the Mediterranean. In light of such a mission, literary translation holds a special place in what we do, not only as an act of artistic regeneration, but also as an act of regenerating our identity, who we are and who we might become. In this sense, translation as an experience and the human experience itself overlap. This year's conference, the third, puts special emphasis on the human experience of translation. Rather than the rhetoric of the utopic, it is the factual context that makes this conference particularly relevant. A couple of years ago, government schools in Malta identified about 600 students who spoke neither Maltese nor English. A couple of weeks ago, the government announced its plans to have culture and language for migrants. And a month ago, photos circulated of leaflets distributed by Birzabucha's local council with basic translations into English and Arabic. Given such a context, translation can never be just about the regeneration of our means of expression. Given such a context, translation is also about who we are and who we might become. Thank you very much.
Bartolo, she's my conference with chairman. She program technical with microphone.
Good morning. I hope I'll say something which is worth the wait. There are a lot of tragic realities on our planet. Children dying of hunger, war, injustice, inequality. But one of the most beautiful aspects is the diversity of languages that we have on our planet. At least over 6,900 different languages. There have been, throughout our history, dreams of having only one language with which we can communicate. But thank goodness those dreams have come to nothing. Because the fact that there are so many different languages, although it makes it more difficult for us to communicate with each other, with every death of a language, a civilization passes away, even if it's just a few people who have spoken that language and perhaps have never written it. So it's good to have diversity of languages, and for diversity of languages to make sense, we need interpreters, we need translators. So you have a very important role to carry out. And I must say I admire you a lot, because one of my previous jobs had been as a translator for translating documents for the EU, and I must say it was one of my most difficult tasks I've ever had to carry out, especially trying to translate about realities that do not exist in Malta, either railway tracks or coal mining or whatever. It was quite tough. naqleb ftit tal-Malti. Naħseb li dalli qed tiddiskutu intom huwa importantissimu, naħseb li huwa importantissimu mhux biss għall-futur tal-lingwa jew għall-futur tal-lingwi imma anke għall-futur tas-soċjetà tagħna. Is-soċjetà tagħna qed tinbidel, inbidlet ħafna. L-iskejjel tagħna għandna nħawi l-iskejjel statali tagħna li huma internazzjonali aktar mill-Verdala International School. Fejn għandna realtajiet fejn il-minoranza huma Maltin. Xir meta aħna nitkellmu fuq in-numri li semmejtu tas-600, daka huma toħodhom average. Ma jekk aħna ngħidu li fl-iskejjel tagħna llum għandna xi 3400 tfal ġejjin minn ħafna pajjiżi differenti, mhux biss mill-Unjoni Ewropea imma anke lil minnhom mill-Afrika u mill-Asja, mill-Pakistan, mill-Indja, nistgħu nagħmlu lista sħiħa. Minn ħafna postijiet differenti, imbagħad dik mhux biżżejjed li semmi 3400, imbagħad trid tara kif huma mqasmin lokalità b'lokalità. U għandna skejjel fejn it-tfal tagħna, pereżempju minn klassi ta' 15 ta' 20 ikollok 3 Maltin. U mbagħad għandek ukoll realtà pjuttost ġdida, fl-inħawi ta' madwar il-port mhix realtà ġdida għal ħafna taħlit li kien ikun hemm jew fejn kellna l-bażi Ingliża kien ikun hemm it-taħlit mal-Ingliżi. Immissa għandna realtà ġdida ta' taħlit ma' ħafna nazzjonalitajiet differenti. Ġifieri meta llum nitkellmu fuq pajjiż bilingwu dik żgur li m'għadix biżżejjed li nsejħu lil Malta pajjiż bilingwu. U anke hemmhekk naħseb jiena rridu naġġustaw l-aġġettivi u rridu naġġustaw il-mod kif inħarsu lejn is-soċjetà tagħna. Imma mbagħad għandna ħafna żwieġ u tfal li qed jitwildu minn żwiġijiet jew minn relazzjonijiet fejn l-ewwel lingwa li jisimgħu li jitħattu fil-familja la il-Malti u laqqas l-Ingliż. Imma huma Maltin dawn, huma Maltin. U din inħoss li aħna għadna aqas omna għal din ir-realtà, ġifieri nafuha, nafu li teżisti. Ma jekk issaqsuni inti sodisfatt bil-pedagoġija lingwistika li għandna fl-iskejjel tagħna? Partijiet iva, imma partijiet le. U rridu bis-serjetà, mingħajr preġudizzji, b'kuraġġ u mingħajr biża li se nagħmlu xi ħaġa li se tarraq il-Malti. Jiena nħoss li għandna bżonn ta' bidliet serji fil-kurrikulum tal-Malti. Għandniex nitkellmu fuq kurrikulum tal-Malti jew nitkellmu fuq kurrikala tal-Malti u jiena naħseb li hekk irridu nagħmlu. Ma naħsibx li nistgħu nfasslu programm wieħed tal-Malti li bih jolqot lil Maltin, li tfal Maltin li id-dar jitkellmu bil-Malti. Fl-istess ħin nolqtu lil dawk li l-ewwel lingwa tagħhom id-dar mhijiex il-Malti u mhux bil-fors l-Ingliż. Jiġifieri għalija il-hangover tal-kolonjaliżmu u Pepe u Soħat u frankament naħseb li għadda żmien li nibqgħu nitkellmu b'dak il-mod. Imma għandna numru dejjem ikbar ta' tfal li l-ewwel lingwa tagħhom mhijiex il-Malti u l-Malti jużawha bħala t-tieni lingwa jew bħala lingwa addizzjonali. U naħseb li rridu nieħdu ħsieb dawk it-tfal li għandna fl-iskejjel tagħna. Ma naħsibx li nistgħu nolqtuhom bl-istess programm li bih irridu naslu mat-tfal tagħna fejn jitkellmu il-Malti fid-dar u jużaw ħafna l-Malti fit-taħdid tagħhom fil-familja u fis-soċjetà. Naf li dan id-diskors ma jogħġobx kulħadd, imma jiena nħoss li għandi ngħidu għax naħseb li jekk mhux se nagħmlu hekk se nitilfu tfal għal Malti kif tlifna għax ma ħadniex ħsieb fis-snin li għaddew li jkollna programm apposta fl-iskejjel tagħna u naħseb li kien nuqqas għal dawk li l-ewwel lingwa tagħhom mhix il-Malti d-dar. Ħafna drabi kienet kull Ingliż. U aħna ma ħsibniex Malti għalihom fl-iskejjel biex jitgħallmu l-Malti. Ħallejnielhom programm wieħed, ħafna drabi mhux huma biss, u din naħseb irridu nirriflettu sewwa dwarha, il-lingwa tanti sabiħa hemm għalfejn it-tfal tagħna jgħixu it-tagħlim tal-lingwi bħala kastik u l-grammatika u kif napproċċjawha flok il-gost li titgħallem lingwa u li biha se tikkomunika ma' oħrajn. Ħafna drabi it-tfal tagħna jgħixu it-tagħlim tal-lingwi mhux tal-Malti biss qed ngħid jien bħala kastik u ninkwieta jien meta nisma' waħda mill-modi mill-istrateġiji li jużaw l-istudenti u l-dawk li jagħtuhom il-privat biex jgħaddu mill-Malti tgħallem xi żewġ essays, 3 essays bl-amment fuq il-letteratura biex tpatti għan-nuqqasijiet l-oħra li għandek fil-parti l-oħra tal-lingwa. Interessanti meta ġieli ddiskutejt ma' tal-Matzek x'jiġri kieku jkun hemm żewġ karti separati. Jiena tafu li nħobb il-letteratura u naħseb li l-aħjar mod kif titgħallem il-lingwa hi permezz tal-letteratura, permezz tal-kreattività. U jgħidu li kieku jkollkom tifirdu u tagħmlu bħalmen fl-Ingliż karta tal-grammatika u karta tal-letteratura, jgħaddu inqas tfal mill-Malti. Għaliex huwa l-letteratura li tikkumpensa għall-karta l-oħra. Li dan mhumiex affarijiet sbieħ. Għalija mhux affarijiet sbieħ. Jien nixtieq nara l-tfal tagħna jieħdu gost jitgħallmu l-Malti u jibqgħu jħobbuh u mhux jagħmluh għax ta' bil-forsa x'inkella ma javanzawx fl-istudji tagħhom. Sar titjib, minnix ngħid li ma sarx titjib, imma naħseb li rridu nkunu iktar miftuħin anke li speċjalment fl-età tal-adolescenti il-letteratura li nażlulhom tal-Malti hija l-letteratura li tqarribhom lejn il-ħajja tal-lum. Mhux li qisek x'in tiġi biex tilbes x'in tiġi biex titgħallem il-Malti trid tilbes is-sidrija il-beritta u ddaħħal il-pipa f'ħalqek għax morna lura 80 sena biex issa jien għandi m'hemmx għalfejn noqgħod nagħmel apoloġija, għandi rispett enormi lejn il-kittiba tagħna ta' snin 30 u ta' qabel. Imma għaliex kien jagħmlu letteraturi oħra, anke x'in jagħmlu letteratura Ingliża, id-dinja li qed jitkellmu dwar hemmhekk hija aktar qrib tagħhom milli tal-Malti, jibqgħu jassoċjaw il-Malti ma' xi ħaġa hekk tal-antik. Allura naħseb li hemmhekk u jiena għall-inqas assigurat li fil-Learning Outcomes Framework il-ġodda li għandna il-Malti bħal lingwi l-oħra u aktar mill-lingwi l-oħra, l-oħrajn 4 kompetenzi ma f'dan il-każ tal-Malti huma 6. Ikun hemm ukoll il-Malti kif mitħaddet, kif użat, kif miftiem u kif imħaddem. U mhux biss l-approach li kellna sissa għal kif nitgħallmu il-lingwi. Per eżempju, jiena inkwetati u rrid sitwazzjoni fejn kienu għaddejjem jaqgħu l-ammont ta' tfal li jistudjaw anke lingwi oħra. Ġifieri jiena daqskemm jien nagħmilha ċara, daqskemm jien inkwetat li għandna nofs il-fifth formers tagħna ma jgħaddux mill-Malti. X'aħna ngħidu l-Ingliż. Jiena nħoss li daqskemm hemm problema bl-Ingliż hemm problema bil-Malti. Jekk naċċettaw li l-mod kif inkejlu il-kisbiet tal-Malti huwa sekk li mhux bil-forsi huwa l-aħjar kejl. Imma inħoss li l-lingwi, il-tagħlim tal-lingwi u l-Malti fuq quddiem irridu nagħmluh b'mod aktar ħaj u b'mod aktar interessanti. Min se jispeċjalizza l-quddiem fl-università, dak imbagħad minnu tistenna impenji aktar qawwija, m'hemmx dubju, aktar qawwija. Imma ma nħoss li għandna ngħaddu lill-tfal kollha minn magna waħda tal-ikkapuljat li hija issek kif inhu llum. Jiena naħseb li dak li hemm ippjanat għal Learning Outcomes Framework diġà jagħmel naħseb huwa passi l qudiem. Meta pruvajna issa f'dan l-aħħar 3 snin l-approach tal-lingwi fil-ħajja ta' kuljum u smigħ il-kitba u tħaddim tagħha. L-ammont ta' tfal li issa qed jieħdu l-Ispanjol, il-Franċiż, il-Ġermaniż. Li min raba waħda? Ġermaniż. L-Ispanjol jew Taljan? Taljan, għak ninsew it-Taljan konna problemi. Żdiedu b'800. Ġifieri it-trend tista' tirriversja, ġifieri din li naqtaw qalbna u ngħidu m'hemmx tagħmel illum stajt li jużaw l-Ingliż, jużaw il-kawlata li hemm fuq il-computer, żaw li hemm online għax biċċa Amerikan u biċċa Ingliż u biċċa ma nafx x'inhu. Jiġifieri l-affarijiet jistgħu jitjiebu, nistgħu nsaħħu it-tagħlim tal-lingwi fostna u nerġa' ngħid fuq il-Malti. Jien personalment inħoss l-opinjoni personali tiegħi u nipprova nimbotta biex issir li fis-snin li ġejjin l-istudenti tagħna fl-iskejjel tagħna għandhom ikollhom mill-inqas 3 programmi differenti li minnhom jażlu. Dawk li l-Malti għalihom huwa il-lingwa nattiva u li jużawha f'ħafna mill-relazzjonijiet tagħhom fil-familja u lil minna. Il-Malti fejn mhuwiex dik il-lingwa imma huma Maltin u rridu naħsbu għall-lingwa u għall-programm tal-lingwa ta' dak it-tip u mbagħad il-Malti għall-barranin. Għax aqasu sewwa li qed nibdew l-tfal nagħmluhom il-Malti fil-primarja. Issa bdew jaslunna tfal barranin li ħadmu l-Malti u għaddew mill-Malti għandna skola minnhom fejn il-premju tal-Malti rebħu tifel li mhux Malti. U tieħu gost, tajt kif fisser li jiena nieħu gost ġieli nkun f'okkażjonijiet ta' żgħażagħ fejn iqumu jitkellmu bil-Malti. Huma ġejjin minn razzezz differenti u jużaw Malti tajjeb. Ma naħseb rridu naħsbu għalihom għax bħalissa dawk qed isibu sqaq. Għax issa xejn jiġu biex ta' 15-il sena se jagħmlu. Ilhom jgħixu hawn 7 snin. U jgħidulhom isma' trid il-Malti tas-sekk. Ma jistgħux iġibu l-Malti tas-sekk kif inhu dawn. Allura dak għandek tal-qilhom ħalhom u tal-qilhom il-futur tagħhom u tgħidulhom issa daqshekk. Jiena naħseb li nkunu qed insaħħu l-Malti jekk bid-diversità tal-lingwi li issa għandna f'pajjiżna, mhux li hawn fid-dinja, li hawn f'pajjiżna. Aħna bħalissa għandna 17% tan-nies li jaħdmu f'pajjiżna dawk l-uffiċjali, jiġifieri dawk li nafu bl-istatistika. Ir-realtà hija ħafna ikbar minn hekk. Ġejjin minn pajjiżi oħra u mhux biss minn pajjiżi li aħna normalment jew familjarjament għandna relazzjoni magħhom, imma anke minn pajjiżi oħra. U allura l-workplaces tagħna wkoll saru post ta' diversità u anke din hija għalija tema importanti ħafna f'dak li qed tiddiskutu llum. Ġifieri nitkellmu fuq l-integrazzjoni. Ma nistgħux naħsbu biss fil-postijiet tat-tagħlim jew fil-postijiet tas-soċjetà. Għandna bżonn importanti wkoll naħsbu fuq l-integrazzjoni fuq il-postijiet tax-xogħol. U policies hemmhekk qatt m'għandniex. U jekk ma jkollniex u ma jkunux policies bil-għaqal, tħalli l-vojt għal populiżmu, tħalli vojt għal mibeda, tħalli vojt għal preġudizzi. Il-meta m'għandux għalfejn ikun hekk, għax meta mbagħad in-nies jiltaqgħu flimkien, kif intqal diġà fid-diskorsi tajbi li sar qabel, meta n-nies jiltaqgħu flimkien, ma jibqgħux aktar diżumani u karikatura u xjaten u dan se ġejjina u ħasruna hekk. Nagħlaq fuq dan il-punt jien kont qed nargumenta ma' wieħed u jgħidli l-immigranti u għalli ara meta kont il-Bronx, għalli tajċ kemm kont imur tajjeb ma' s-Suwed. Tlu tajjeb, il-Bronx kont mur tajjeb. Għallex kont ngħix magħhom, taqli kont fosthom għalli kont nafhom hekk u nies orrajt ta' dawn, nies orrajt. Ħafna drabi aħna l-mibeda u l-karikaturi huma ta' nies li qatt ma ltqajna magħhom li narawhom ħdejn ir-roundabout tal-Marsa aħna għaddejjin u allura speċi dawk huma l-invażuri. Jien nirringrazzjakom ħafna ta' din it-tema, għandi kurżità kbira u mhux inkurżità kbira manke interess. Naraw se joħroġ minn din il-konferenza x'naħseb dak li qed tiddiskutu hawn nerġa' ngħid għandu importanza kbira mhux biss għall-politika edukattiva u l-politika lingwistika tagħna, imma anke għall-soċjetà, għall-futur tas-soċjetà kollha kemm hi. U nirringrazzjakom ħafna li ħadtu din l-inizjattiva.
Mela nistidnu l-ewwel panel. We invite the first panel. We've got our keynote speaker, who is Dr. Séverine Hubscher-Davidson. You can approach, and Claudine, Professor Claudine Borg will be chairing the first panel. We'll also have an intervention by Felicien and Lara from the Migrant Learners unit and by Professor John Portelli. So you can approach the table. Séverine can go ahead with her this. Okay, okay, no problem. I'll just move on. Okay, okay.
Sorry, being awkward.
No problem. Yours.
Bonjour, good morning. Our first speaker in this panel is Dr. Séverine Hubscher-Davidson. Séverine is head of translation at the Open University in the UK. She teaches both translation theory and practice, and her research interests are in the areas of translators' personalities, translators' emotions, and how individual differences impact the translation process. Recently, she has published articles on the topics of emotional intelligence and intuition in relation to translation. She has just completed a book for Routledge, which tackles the impact of emotions on translation performance. And this morning, she's going to talk about translation and emotions, a new perspective on integration. Séverine, I give you the floor.
Inviting me today as well. I really appreciate that. And particularly to speak about such an important and timely topic. Can everybody hear me okay? Yeah? Should I speak louder? Okay, I will. We're in a period of uncertainty in external relationships at a global level. Nuclear threats, environmental threats, threats of treaties not happening. All of these things are straining international relationships. And in many countries, internal divisions have also become increasingly and uncomfortably visible. Assailed by terrorism and unsettling votes, I'm not going to talk anymore about Brexit today, amongst other events, cracks are appearing or reappearing. And it's a good time for us to ask ourselves, what is creating division? Is it age, class? Is it location, faith, education? All of these things at once? And how can we fix it? Now, clearly Malta has a very unique context, and I don't pretend to know about the Maltese context in any detail, but hopefully some of the concepts which I will discuss today will have relevance for you guys as well. Okay, you've already seen my shock slide, but anyway. One of the pressing concerns of European countries at the moment is how best to integrate different socio-ethnic groups in society. The topic of integration is not a new one, but migration flows to Europe in the last few years have certainly exacerbated the issue. And Malta, as I've heard from the minister, is no exception. When preparing this talk, I found that research studies on multiculturalism and integration in Malta had been carried out by the Faculty for Social Wellbeing here at the University of Malta. The studies showed that a majority of Maltese citizens favor multiculturalism and favor integration, whereas in which ethnocultural groups live together in mutual tolerance and respect without forfeiting their respective identities. But the research also found that not everyone embraces a multicultural ideology, and perhaps more worryingly, that migrants who favor integration actually report lower levels of well-being than those who do not. So that means that those who reject integration are probably happier and healthier, which is a little bit of a concern. The research concluded that there is cause for concern and called for improved measures that foster mutual tolerance, respect, and harmony between all ethnocultural groups in Malta. They called on the Maltese to find a way to transform cultural diversity into added value. My argument today is that this can be achieved in Malta and elsewhere, really, on the one hand through psychology and emotion work, and on the other hand through language and translation. The two areas are completely, as I see it, intertwined. Let us imagine the kinds of feelings and emotions felt by someone who has just arrived in a new country, an immigrant. We've all traveled, I'm assuming we've all traveled. Perhaps we have ourselves settled in a new country or several countries at some point. So let's think back to some of the experiences that we have had and the emotions attached to these. So as a child, I moved to Los Angeles, California at the age of 7. I did not speak any English. I remember only too well my first day at school, so a little French girl in a school. I felt unsure and uncertain about absolutely everything. I didn't understand anything at all that was going on. I remember feeling shame that I could not answer the teacher's questions in class. I was very afraid of doing things wrong. I remember that. I was very frustrated not to be able to answer when my classmates were asking me, "What's your name?" And all I knew how to answer was yes. That's the only word I knew. And so they thought I was called Yes, which is quite embarrassing, really. But anyway. I was angry at my parents for taking me away from my grandparents, from my family, from my home, from everything I knew, and from my friends. I lived in a permanent state of confusion, and still do to an extent, about a lot of American customs, such as pledging allegiance to the flag every morning before starting class. That was a completely foreign concept to me. There were days when I was sad and stressed because I missed home and I missed the familiar. These emotions, I know, were also shared by my younger sister and by my parents, and I'm sure experienced to various extents by most displaced populations, and often in much more extreme ways than what I'm talking about. These complex emotions, and what psychologists call negative emotions, are part of a normal and necessary process of adaptation. However, they do lead us to undertake high levels of emotional labor. Indeed, the situations that migrants and other displaced populations find themselves in often require them to manage and to control negative emotions. And this results in strain, in fatigue, in stress, and it can really deplete one's psychological resources. Emotional labor occurs in social contexts and shapes social interactions. During that time, that process of adaptation, we feel very strongly what divides us, what separates us, what differentiates us, what alienates us. I remember the bewilderment I felt at being called an alien, a legal one, but an alien nonetheless, a word which to a child conjures up images of scary, deformed, and dangerous monsters that you're more likely to want to stay away from than to accept in your midst. Being uprooted and trying to settle in a new country is a shock to the system, and the negative emotions aroused can, at least for a period of time, impact on individuals' happiness and well-being. Successful adaptation and integration, in my view, can only happen if sufficient attention is paid to underlying psychology of individuals. And language and translation are vital for this to take place. Language and translation are, I believe, the key to successful adaptation and transition from a state of continuous emotional labor to one of adaptive emotion regulation and emotional functioning, which promotes health and well-being. Language and the possibility of communication gives you access to services, it gives you access to friendships, new encounters, it enables you to live your life to the same extent as you would have done back home. Whereas to start with, language is a barrier to integration, separating and dividing the alien from others, it eventually becomes a bridge to the other culture. And translation has a key role to play in turning language from barrier to bridge. Translation and interpreting enable integration in two key ways. It helps to overcome the divide, the language gulf, first of all, in a functional way. So indeed, professional translation services provide migrants with access to legal, social, medical services. And this is vital to their livelihood. Second, translation helps integration in a more abstract way. Translation provides migrants with access to new ideas, to a new culture, to new perspectives, new points of view, new understandings of the world, and it enables them to become familiar with these differences and to broaden their horizons. And this, I would argue, is vital to their psychological well-being. As such, translation can enable a more comprehensive and a healthier adaptation process. Translation helps to reduce feelings of alienation, of difference, and it promotes adaptation and new avenues for growth and development. Eventually, the migrant will become a translator himself. Not in the professional sense, although this, of course, can happen, but in the sense that he or she will always be imbued with two or more languages, cultures, two emotional realities, and going back and forth between these. Translation becomes a way of life. Translation, therefore, facilitates the creation of multicultural, multilingual, and adjusted citizens. Translation, in its various forms, is thus key for the psychological and social integration of migrants within our communities. Indeed, we know from research that being connected to different languages and cultures and being able to translate between these has a number of social, cognitive, affective, and health benefits for the individual. For example, it's said to ward off Alzheimer's. So, woohoo! But using professional translation services also helps to tolerate ambiguous situations and to learn to navigate them. Professional translation services enable you to perform well in cross-cultural settings. This builds resilience and tolerance. The subsequent process of acquiring a new language reinforces this. Indeed, in their research on multilinguals, Wella and Way found that individuals who know more languages become more tolerant and learn to deal with ambiguity and ambiguous situations much better than those who know fewer languages. They react better to unfamiliar and complex situations, which seems important for, successful social integration. These multilinguals therefore become a powerful resource for a country. Translation opens the door for this to happen. In addition to learning to tolerate ambiguous situations, translation helps individuals to manage their emotions more generally. When using professional translation services, individuals are able to pursue the short and long-term goals that are important to them, whether it means being able to communicate with a doctor or being able to navigate the legal language necessary to be able to purchase a home. Achieving these goals is a source of new positive emotions, and it facilitates emotion regulation. Indeed, emotion regulation implies thinking about situations differently and cultivating emotions that are helpful. By opening the door to these new opportunities, translation helps people to shape their social environments in new ways, to be seen more favorably by their peers, to reduce their stress, and to better regulate their emotional worlds. So translation, by showing how language can effectively be used to solve problems, has a positive impact on psychological well-being. It is an outlet for expressing and sharing information, and therefore it prevents the maladaptive, negative emotions of rumination and suppression of feelings and of problems. Translation forces verbalization, expression, and situation analysis and appraisal. These psychological benefits of translation will be most obvious if the individual does not just passively use professional translation services, but actively engages in these translation events, participating fully in the process of becoming a multilingual and multicultural citizen. So, let us now imagine the kinds of feelings and emotions felt by someone who has lived in a new country for some time and begun to integrate successfully in their environment. They'll be excited and inspired by the new opportunities available to them in the new country. They will gain confidence little by little, learning new words, and confidence in how to function and live in their new environment. They will become more hopeful for the future. They will be proud of their achievements and also, I think, quite proud of the achievements of their loved ones, their close ones, their children doing well, for example. Contact with another culture will have made them more tolerant and empathetic. Research proves this, honest. And they will have gained a new understanding of their own dispositions and their own coping styles, which is quite important. In turn, this means that they will be more resilient, they'll be more able to draw on their mental resources and physical resources, they'll be stronger and more prepared to navigate the challenges that are ahead of them in their new adopted country. Having successfully transitioned from requiring translation services to becoming translating beings themselves, inhabited by two language cultures or more, they will have gained new perspectives and new resources. More importantly, I think, they should report higher levels of happiness and higher levels of well-being. So to conclude, I would like to highlight again the important role of translation in all its forms in contributing to social integration and to the development of psychological and especially emotional resources and mechanisms which are vital to the well-being of citizens in our communities. Let us stop to consider that multilingual and multicultural citizens can offer a significant resource to the nation. This is a message that's particularly important in the UK at the moment, I think. Multilingual and multicultural citizens offer the ability to function in more than one cultural environment. They have a multicultural identity, which encompasses, two cultures, two languages, and they enrich the workings of society and culture for all of the countries, both at home and abroad, for example, with political relations. In these socially divisive times, are we making the most of these embedded and valuable resources? As we seek to understand how to stand up against terrorism and other threats to community cohesion, surely this is the moment to turn to these very useful and embedded resources and turn them into an opportunity. As I have hopefully shown today, translation and psychology can really help us along this road. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Séverine, for your
for a short discussion. You may ask questions in Maltese or English. Wara kull kelliem għandna ftit minuti għad-diskussjoni. Tistgħu tistaqsu bil-Malti jew bil-Ingliż. Nixtieq jistaqsal, nixtieq jistaqsija.
One question. We all go to other countries. Lately I've been to Poland and I realized that communicating in English with especially elderly Polish people is very difficult. And I sort of wondered, how is it that we don't actually ask ourselves, when it comes to this area, tourism, why don't we speak about the need of translation? Why is it that these countries attract people anyway, even though there aren't so many translation services
You see,
available?
countries like Poland,
Like Poland.
why do they attract tourists? Even though
Why don't we speak about the need of having translation services? They themselves should be asking these questions.
right,
When they depend so much on tourism.
money, always a question of money, translation costs.
So when it comes to integration and so on, isn't also tourism a sort of way of integrating?
Absolutely.
So how,
But it's not just Poland. I think other countries can do more as well.
I took Poland as an
Yeah.
example because I've just started
Yeah.
there. So
Yeah. No, I agree absolutely. And
because
can't speak.
emotionally,
yeah.
the tourist does react.
Yes,
He can't communicate really. So the taxi driver, unless he is honest and so on, can ask you for as many stories as he likes, as it's the case in some parts of Europe, including Malta.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's really important as well because it projects the image of the country. When you're going there and you're being swindled by the taxi driver, you don't go home thinking, oh, this was a great experience. So yeah, I think that has a really important impact on the relationships between the people. And yeah, in the context of tourism, it should be much more promoted. I would agree with you. I can't speak for Poland, but certainly in the UK, it's also the issue. In the UK, there's always this conversation about, translation services cost money. But research studies have shown that if you invest in that, actually, you reap a lot more benefits generally and for the economy. And if you take care of people's emotional intelligence, psychology, and well-being, and you do interventions to promote that, for example, in schools, certainly in emotional intelligence research, it's shown that that can have a significant economic benefit, a wider economic benefit. So I think a lot of governments' views are very short-term, and they don't think about long-term well-being of populations. Yeah.
Those reportedly favoring integration report a lower level of personal well-being. Could it be that the more, well, if I don't wish to integrate, then I'm okay. But if I really wish to integrate, then for me it's even more of a personal blow if I don't manage. So basically, it's almost as if it's better if you don't wish to integrate because you hurt less.
Your life. Yeah. Yeah.
And you were talking about costs of translation in the UK, etc. I work with the European Commission, and at the moment, even the institutions actually are considering sort of the cost of translation as an extra cost and always wondering how we can lower them, etc. Even if it is, because many people will tell you, okay, because everybody who reads our documents can read them in English, and this is not just in the case of Malta. But the issue is, if you want to reach out, you need to learn how to communicate in other people's languages. So that if you go to Poland, you need to learn Polish, and that way you can communicate best.
No, absolutely. I don't know the details of that study. I just looked at the results. But it would also be I'd be interested to know more detail about the study because, yes, in the short term, it might be easier not to integrate and but in the long term, does that have consequences when you have children and they go to school and then they learn a language and a culture which you're not aware of? That can create, I think, more long-term psychological difficulties for people and maybe lower their well-being in the long term. So I think there's a time frame component to it as well. Yeah, cost is... But I think there are other, and we really need to promote, if we like translation and we think it's useful, we need to promote its other benefits and not just the fact that, yes, it's expensive and yes, oh, we're so sorry that it's expensive. No, it's good for people's, psychological health. I think it's a good argument.
Just another question. What do you think of machine translation?
Necessary. I think we can't stop it, so we might as well accept it. I think it's going to get much better in the future than it currently is, and I think it will be good to have it, to integrate it into the other things that we're doing. But it can't replace learning a new language and learning a new culture, right? It's just language. It's just the structures of a language. It's not the depth that the culture adds to it. So I would say it's a necessary evil, and it will help a lot in some cases, and we need to work with it, but it can't replace other things.
Thank you for...
Thank you. Thank you for the questions and the answers, Séverine. The next talk will be delivered by Dr. Felician Vassallo-Gauci and Ms. Lara Sammut. Felician has taught foreign languages in Malta for 15 years, and she is visiting senior lecturer at the University of Malta. In 2012, she completed her PhD in linguistics, and her areas of specialization include teacher training, second language acquisition, intercultural communication, and cross-cultural and intercultural pragmatics. Lara is a professionally trained teacher specializing in the teaching of foreign languages. She is currently working at the Migrant Learners Unit, and she is in charge of teacher training and mentoring, resource production, as well as teaching in both primary and secondary sector. Their talk this morning is entitled Setting Up Migrant Education Services within the Ministry for Education and Employment. Felician and Lara, the floor is yours.
So good morning. My name is Felician. I work at the Migrant Learners Unit. And today we are going to tell you more or less what we do at the Migrant Learners Unit. We are going to speak about the services which we provide to our learners. So let's start off with something about diversity and languages in schools. There are two important documents which we abide by when we provide our services to our learners. The first one is the National Curriculum Framework. And the National Curriculum Framework clearly states that Malta has become, obviously, a multicultural society, and that schools should be in a position to provide children and their parents with adequate language support as early as possible in order to allow them to be able to integrate. The Education Act is a second very important document which we abide by, and the Education Act states that Maltese and English are the official languages of schools, and the administration may use either of both languages for official purposes. So we welcome you, merhaba, to this talk. This is a collage by our learners in our school. And we're going to start off by showing you some enrollment trends in Maltese schools. And we're going to show you some numbers. So you can see that in 2013, the total number of non-Maltese learners was 520. 2 years later, that number went up to 2,482. 1.5 years later, the number went up to 3,731. And that is the figure for the end of scholastic year 2016-2017. So the numbers now are even higher than that. Well, what does 3,731 mean? In real terms, that means 11.4% of the total school population in our schools. Of course, and this can be linked to what the Minister was saying earlier on, they are not distributed evenly on our country. For those who are familiar with the educational system in Malta we have a series of colleges, STEM colleges, okay? And each college, more or less, is associated to a particular geographical area. So you can see that Maria Regina College, for example, that is Mosta, Nashar, St. Paul's Bay, 24% of learners in our schools in this college are non-Maltese learners. So 1 in 4. St. Clair's College, that's another college, and over there we have Slema, St. Julian's, San Juan. Again, 28% of learners in schools are non-Maltese. And then there are colleges where more or less we can say that the number of migrant learners is negligible. St. Margaret's College, for example, St. Nicholas College. St. Margaret's College is Birgu, Bormla, Isla. St. Nicholas College is Rabat, Mjar, Mtarfa, Dingli, and so on. So definitely there's no even distribution. Let's have a look at nationalities. Out of the 3,731 migrant learners, just 504 are third country nationals. The rest come from 28 EU countries. The vast majority of third country nationals come from Libya, Serbia, Syria, Pakistan, and Eritrea. Evidence-based, what do we know? We know that there are some factors which certainly influence the educational attainment of migrant learners. And these are the most important factors. The learner's parents' educational background, their language skills, the composition of the school, and the general structure and quality of the country's educational system. Now over here we're going to focus mostly on language skills. Okay. What else do we know? From the MIPEX index, some of you might be familiar with this index, is the Migration Integration Policy Index. What really matters to have positive outcomes in the educational attainment of learners, of migrant learners, but not only migrant learners, of all learners in general. In order to have inclusive schools, educational systems are more successful when they target the specific needs of immigrant pupils. And that is exactly what we do at the unit. Okay? We target the specific needs of our learners. And because we feel that language of schooling, so in this case Maltese and English, is a prerequisite not only for integration, but also for educational attainment, we really focus on language acquisition. In 2014, the Migrant Learners Unit was set up. So what do we do at the unit? Well, first of all, we develop the operational and business plans. We provide teaching spaces, we employ teachers, administrative services. We develop curricular programs in collaboration with the DQSC. We liaise with parents from migrant background. We collaborate with other ministries. And we also obtain EU financial support. We also participate in local and international fora. Now, related to languages, and we collaborate with NGOs. The Migrant Learners Unit offers a number of services. One of them is the induction course. Now, what is the induction course? It's offered by the unit to newcomer learners who cannot communicate either in Maltese nor in English. So imagine the situation, for example, you have a Russian student who has to follow a maths lesson, but does not understand one single word in Maltese and not even in English. So we really have to give a course, a one-year course, more or less, to these learners. The first objective of learners who are into the induction course, is to ensure the emotional well-being. We really work on that because we really think that that is the first thing we must take care of. The second objective of the induction course is to equip the students with communication skills in order to enable the integration and the community. What we do is we utilize CLIL. So what we're doing is we are teaching Maltese and English to our learners. We are not necessarily following the national curriculum, but still we are teaching them maths, science, PE. So they are doing all the other things which the other learners in mainstream schools are doing, with the difference that what we are doing is focusing mostly on language acquisition. So during the induction course, we teach mathematics, but we teach it with the aim of learners learning Maltese and English. So if, for example, we are teaching, I don't know, in order to teach maths, we do, for example, role plays. So if you go to the grocer, how would you ask for that item? And then what would the salesperson say? What would you reply? And now let's try to, sum the total bill, how much you have to pay at the end of it all. So we are doing maths, but at the same time, we are focusing on giving these learners communication skills. And that's all about our course. Currently, there are approximately 500 learners following this program. It is offered to newcomer students, EU or third-country nationals, and usually lasts 1 year. We also offer other support, and Lara's going to mention what other services we do offer to our learners.
Morning. So, as Christian just mentioned, our main course is the induction course. It lasts 1 year. We assess the students. We have an assessment, and sometimes our learners, they don't need this 1 year course. So what happens? They join into mainstream, and it is where our teachers visit the school, and we have pull-outs. Now, there are certain schools where our teachers are there dissentum, like for example in Maria Regina College, where the influx of newcomer learners is quite important, quite vast. We have round about 5 teachers over there, which basically what they do is they collaborate with the mainstream teacher, and they go and pull out the students during English and Maltese class. And then we have Payston. This usually happens for newcomer learners in the secondary schools, where our teachers go and focus more on the induction of English and Maltese at secondary level. And then we have follow-up. Now, the follow-up is the newcomer learners. We don't have like a time frame. They come all through the year. So sometimes you have students that enter classes during second or third term. So what happens is, the year after, depending on the assessment and their achievement, sometimes they're able to go into mainstream, but haven't acquired a good command of the language. So we have a follow-up kind of program that helps them reinforce their skills, their language skills. Now, our program mainly is okay, as we mentioned. We focus on language and on the well-being of the teacher, but it is also meant to help students to integrate into mainstream. They're not just classes where all the foreign students lay as an island, and then the students the year after will have to enter mainstream. So as far as we can, we try to minimize the shock, and we try to let our students mingle with the other students in the mainstream. And how does this come about? During break time, our students are in the courtyard at the same time as the other students in mainstream. And then we have subjects such as arts, music, craft, PSCD, where our students join the mainstream students as well, music as well, and obviously during any other activities organized by the school, such as Prize Day, Language Day, Sports Day, any other activities where the school as a whole organizes activities, our students join in. And of course, the outings. Now, some difficulties hiccups that might come about are that Maltese is not worth learning. Sometimes we have some of our, especially coming from the parents, we have students who come to Malta just for 1 year, and we have parents telling us, listen, we're not interested in Maltese, we don't want to learn Maltese, I'm not going to use Maltese anywhere, but so we're not interested into our child learning Maltese. And then, as we might face some problems because all our students have to learn Maltese and English. Migrants are not here to stay. This phenomenon is temporary. This is what some of our Maltese learners say. But as this can be proven wrong. And the presence of migrant learners could be an obstacle in mainstream education, Especially this is being said by some teachers who, of course, find it difficult to incorporate in their class a student who does not understand any English or any Maltese, who sometimes has difficulties, even imagine, to go to the bathroom, okay? He can't ask, or if he sets into class during the midst of the academic year, and where the class has already gained its momentum and has already set the class routine, it's difficult, and then to tag along. Now, some projects that we have going on at the moment. We have the recruitment of teachers, the community liaison workers, which help us strengthen the relationship with parents, because we want parents on board. And I wrote it up. And the provision of psychosocial support, which is essential, especially we have some of our students who are going through trauma, and we have to tackle that before starting to enact our CLIL approach. And then the Making Friends Club, where our newcomer learners are assigned kind of a buddy system with a Maltese student, and he can integrate more and kind of unofficially and rather than the academic way. And the launching and of a local, the design and launching of a local platform for teaching Maltese as a foreign language, and intensive courses for English and Maltese during the summer months, which we Language to Go, which we call Language to Go, and these serve also as a follow-up, and we keep an eye on the students that one have followed our induction courses and language courses during the year, and two, for the newcomer learners that are enrolled during the summer months. Basically, thank you very much. And I have some final photos so that you have a clear snippet of what's going on into our classrooms.
Can you switch maybe the
Light,
lights?
just
Off. Switch off the lights, just
what's it? These are some activities that our teachers will do through cooking and crafts, and as you can see, they're having their physical activity lesson now. Outings. We had a horse riding course going on where last year, the HAPA project. Cooking.
We focus on conversation and spoken most of the time.
And this was a psychosocial activity done by our psychologist. Thank you very much for listening in. Good morning.
Thank you for this very informative presentation. Would like to ask questions?
Am I right? Am I correct in saying that all this is related to government schools, right? Yes. Now, we've got a situation, a very particular one. About 1/3 of our school population goes to private and religious schools. Where do they figure in?
Nużaw il-mikrofon minħabba li tiġu rekordjati.
What's the only connection we have at the moment with private and church schools is that when we offer training to our teachers, everyone is invited, and to date I can say that we have had quite a response from both church and private schools as regards to teacher training. Like, for example, we organized a CLIL and multicultural course offered by ECML, and we had quite a number of representatives from that section.
Yes, but apart from that, everything which we said during our presentation, even numbers and figures, is what is happening in state schools. We do not have the same control on what goes on into private schools and church schools, obviously.
Any other questions? Mistoqsijiet oħra?
Are there any publications specifically prepared for these students, distributed in the various colleges and so on? I mean specifically prepared for them, not the textbooks which are already available in the schools, publications. Yes. No. Teaching material. I'm referring to teaching material published specifically for the needs of these students.
Yes. Well, there is something, but not much. There are some, obviously, when it comes to English, it's easier to find material because, English as a foreign language is, there's so much material which is readily available to everyone. When it comes to Maltese, we find it slightly more difficult. There is a textbook which we are consulting at the moment, which is a book by Antoinette Camilleri Grima, which you might be familiar with, Atra, if I'm not mistaken. Atra. Again, that is one of the best consultation books which we have, but mostly targeting secondary schools. Whereas our learners most of our learners are in the primary schools. So what we do is mostly we'll teach our teachers how to adapt material. We don't use one specific textbook, but we adapt our own framework, and we teach our teachers to use material and adapt it according to the classroom needs.
Exactly, because we have a 25-week framework, which we made readily available to our teachers, and even we were asked to disseminate in church and private schools, which we did. We have no problem about that. And there are the materials which we provided, but the teacher may readily change according to the context of her classroom, context and level of her classroom.
Very happy and would welcome any material which can help into the acquisition of Maltese as a foreign language, obviously. So if there's anyone who is interested into writing textbooks and so on, please write the textbook and get it to us.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and keeping in mind this is still a kind of baby unit which has been founded around about 3 to 4 years ago, and we still have a long way to go.
We have 2 more questions from the floor.
Just out of curiosity, what language do the children speak between themselves, given there are so many different nationalities, until they have a certain level of Maltese or English?
I invite you to come to our classrooms. Now, after 5 years of visiting almost every single hub, I tell you that I am still amazed at how they manage to communicate. I do not have an answer to this question, okay? But usually it is through the miming, and believe me, it is a very vivid one. But I can't tell you, listen, they use English, listen, they use Italian, all right? It's a mix, but they communicate, believe me, they do.
And it's fascinating to see how at the beginning of the year, we have learners who do not speak one single word in Maltese and English. After a few months, 3, 4, 5 months, you can see that there has been a radical difference. Much of that is due to the love, the care and affection which our teachers provide to these learners. It is impossible to learn any foreign language unless you feel a certain love towards that language and a certain, some way, something which makes you open up to the language. So that is why I said we focus on the emotional aspect first. If we manage to get the learners on board, if we make them feel safe, and that is crucial, welcome, loved, I tell you, they do open up to our languages, and you see fantastic results after 1, 2, 3 months. You start seeing really, really positive results.
One last question.
So thanks for all of that. I've been very interested in following it because I have a couple of students, in fact, who are visiting your hubs and trying to understand how they work. So I'll talk to you about that later. But I just have a... No. Well, I'll talk to you later. So just have a comment and a question. My comment is I really like the idea of trying to welcome students and give them a positive approach, because I think the most important thing that you can do is to show an element, to encourage an element of choice. So you mentioned the parents having a slightly more negative attitude, and of course one way of... No, some of the parents having a slightly more negative, and I can imagine it, to be honest. If they think they're here for a year, in their heads they are transitional anyway, and they're just leaving. But maybe one plus is the element of bilingualism itself can be presented to them as, it doesn't really matter if it happens to be Maltese at the moment, it could be another language next time, which I don't think we're always aware of. And the question I have for you is, you talk about training for your teachers. Is that training open also to all of the teachers who end up with students in their class who are non-Maltese, but who aren't part of your, the mainstream teachers? Yeah.
So to be honest, we thought about that last year. So this year, we will try to make our intervention through PDs and SDPs. That's it. We're basically officially where we approach the administration of a school headmaster, especially throughout, not any particular colleges. Sorry, yes. PD, school development plan, where the school plans basically the action plan of the year after, and the PD is a professional session as in training, where, for example, they can be learning about literacy or psychosocial development, anything, any team the school chooses. All right, so fingers crossed, they might requesting our support as well. Fingers crossed.
Thank you. So, yes, we can take other questions, and we'll be waiting for Professor Portelli in a minute. If there are any other questions, the floor is still open. Okay, Dr. Muscat.
Thank you. Of the non-Maltese speaking students, did you by any chance come across anyone who had additional needs, such as disabilities? And how would you cater for that?
No, as in those who need the support by a language support, an LSA, yeah, exactly. Now, there are two scenarios to that. One, if we know beforehand on the registration date. So we need all the documentation, and when that happens, we can set the process going. So we try to, as much as possible, once the learner, our student, enters classroom, he'll have the support. And sometimes we realize, that not even the parents know, during the course of the year, and that can be quite problematic because quite some time might pass until the student might have the support needed, I'm afraid to say.
Lately, we decided to focus also on psychosocial support. Some of our learners come from very difficult situations. Some of our learners obviously are here in Malta because their parents are working in Malta. They came in Malta because they found a better job. So they do not have difficulties when it comes to, they are Europeans and so on. But other learners come from areas where they are used to bombing, they are used, they're not here by choice, and these really need psychosocial support. So what we are doing now, also thanks to the EU funding, is to try to support these learners also on that aspect, of course. But apart from that, yes, we also have LSAs. They have the same rights as mainstream students of having all the support, which is usually offered to all learners.
You've had a very interesting presentation.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really good. Thank you. My question is obviously linked to the psychological support. Quite often, it's linked to the family environment, and I think you were saying that the parents have their own issues. Is there a link with, I suppose, maybe not social services, but is there some kind of integration system for the parents that then can link in with how the kids are being kind of integrated? Is there some kind of family support rather than just targeting the children, I suppose?
This support. We have Gada, who is a trained psychologist, and she focuses mainly on our Arab sector, but of course offers support for all the other students, of course, but her reality is, being Libyan, she comes from a certain, so strictly speaking, all right, and then we have Chris, who works more on community leader support, liaising with the parents, and he takes care of everything from school transportation, which might be, being a newcomer over here, and to any other needs, and even adapting problems that our parents might face, and we, as not being exactly, but we try to help. We try to be a one-stop shop, for our parents if they need any ID Malta, any other support, help. We try to, from our knowledge. Miriam, maybe Miriam is part of our team because we're just one large family here.
Just we have a Facebook page, and parents now feel more involved because whenever they have a question, they post it to our Facebook page, and we do our best to answer them and to liaise with them. That's all.
The Facebook address?
You can look for Migrant Learners Unit.
You'll see photos, what's going on. It is a very, very active Facebook page. So if you have some time, please do visit the Facebook page, Migrant Learners Unit Malta.
And sometimes it is also useful for family members who are still in the country to have a look at whatever their nephew, their grandchild is doing here in our classes. It's a snippet.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the interest that you have. Professor Portelli has a plane to catch. He will be delivering his presentation orally in Maltese, but there will be an alternate language support, and I will leave the floor to Claudine to introduce Professor Portelli.
Grazie. Il-professur Portelli jaħdem fid-Dipartiment tal-Edukazzjoni dwar il-Ġustizzja Soċjali fl-Università ta' Toronto u għal-awtur jew il-koawtur ta' 10 kotba akademiċi u 3 ġabrit ta' poeżija. Ir-riċerka u t-tagħlim tiegħu jiffukaw fuq l-edukazzjoni dwar il-ġustizzja soċjali, kwistjonijiet ta' ekwità fil-politika u tmexxija edukattiva u t-teorija u l-pedagoġija demokratika. Illum se jitkellem dwar il-Malti bħala mezz ta' integrazzjoni. Fidejk.
Grazzi Claudine u grazzi lill-organizzaturi tal-li stidnuni biex nitkellem dal-għodu. L-għodwa tajba lil-kulħadd, good morning to all. I will be talking in English, but for the sake of Maltese, sorry, but for the sake of those who do not understand English, I will give a brief abstract. So I will be reflecting on my 40 years of living in Canada, both as an immigrant and as an academic working in the area of social justice education. Secondly, I will try to argue that there are dangers with the notion of integration if integration is based on either multiculturalism or interculturalism. However, there are more possibilities if integration is based on a clearly anti-racist education perspective. It seems to me that we would be better off if we focus on the notion of hospitality and unpack that notion rather than integration. But of course, this is a very complex matter. And I also believe that, of course, translation has a big role to play in all of this. However, this is not simply a technical matter. I will be focusing on the complexities of language as a way of life and with all the contradictions and tensions and possibilities. Nispera illi ma nagħmilx taħdida dik li nsejjaħ jiena rigor mortis. All right. Allura, yes, I have also prepared some talking notes, which are in English, so that, and Mark kindly prepared a PowerPoint. I hope it will be as truthful as my notes. I'm only kidding, Mark. All right, okay. So, yes. Mela, jiena ħanibda għandi 3 punti x'nagħmel. L-ewwel nett ħanibda mill-esperjenza tiegħi meta tlaqt tal-Kanada 40 sena ilu. Fl-ewwel siegħa li wasalt il-Kanada kelli 2 esperjenzi illi illum nirrifletti fuqhom illi jorbtu ħafna mat-tema ta' din il-konferenza. Kelli 23 sena, sejjer minn iħħad-Dingli għal Montreal u ma nafx kelma bil-Franċiż. Imma wasalt Toronto, għax kelli inbiddel l-ajruplan Toronto. U wasalt fit-8:30 ta' filgħaxija. U l-ajruplan ieħor kien se jitlaq fl-10 ta' bil-lejl. Meta wasalt l-airport, għaddejt mill-uffiċċju tal-immigration, sejħuli u mort f'kamra żgħira mejda twila itwal minn din, hemmhekk kien hemm l-officer, kienet mara u jiena qiegħed hawnhekk. Xari kbir, twil, nuċċali iswed, daqna daqsiex. Il-laqam tiegħi kien jaser meta mbagħad ngħidilkom wara, right? U kif wasalt hemmhekk bdiet tistaqsini id-domandi u jiena kelli l-karti kollha bil-viża li kelli scholarship minn McGill, l-Università Montreal, kollox postu, okay? Kollox pinna tarara. U damet 45 minuta għalija rajtom 45 minuta ta' tortura. Għax il-karti kienu kollha hemmhekk ċari u tont. Hija qed ngħid qed tagħmel xogħla imma okay. U reġgħet bdiet tistaqsini id-domandi b'mod ieħor u qalt li allura McGill University fejn qiegħda? Qedtilha bl-Ingliż intendi. McGill University qiegħda Montreal. U inti taf. U inti diġà saqsejtni dawn id-domandi. Jekk jogħġbok toqgħodx tippretendi għandi ajruplan u tnirrabja ta' jiġifieri 23 sena. Qedtilha għandi ajruplan li se jitlaq 3 kwarti oħra u ħadd tellifni. Għax li ħa nara t-tikit, tajt t-tikit, kif tajt t-tikit, stampat kollox għart li mur. L-ewwel esperjenza tiegħi kif wasalt il-Kanada, kwarta wara li wasalt. Qed il-Madonna da x'pajjiżu. Daqshekk, all right? Issa qasbu ftit l-implikazzjonijiet għall-integrazzjoni u għall-ospitalità. Waħda. Immur għand u l-aeroplan tliftu. Għallu li għadu kif għala ma tistax titla. Titmur għand il-Canadian Pacific Airlines. U mort għand il-Canadian Pacific Airlines. Illum ma jeżistux daw l-airlines. U mort hemmhekk kien hemm aġenda mara ta' xi 40 sena tkellimt bl-Ingliż tiegħi, it-tfal tiegħi jgħiduli meta ħadd biddel l-aċċent għall-Ingliż Kanadiż. Ngħidulhom qatt. All right. Mela, m'għandi xejn kontra l-Ingliż, ktibt 10 kotba bl-Ingliż, imma m'għandix għalfejn biddel l-aċċent. It-tieni, immur hemm u dik kellimta bl-Ingliż tiegħi. U qalt li x'taħsbu li qalt li? Inti Malti? Illa tal-ħnina Madonna, t-tieni esperjenza fl-ewwel nofsija l-Kanada. Tilha iva Malti. Għart li indunajt mill-aċċent tiegħek, għart li għaxhom b'missieri Maltin u bħalek jitkellmu. Għart li naft li fl-ajruplan u għax għandi għaw kella l-karti, għart li ma jimpurtax, għart li ħanirranġawlek titlaq għada fil-ħodu fis-7:30, issa intu kamra l-lukanda l-holiday inn, għamnek, għart li kollox, għart li jimma zonfti, għart li għandi bżon lajnuna tiegħek. Jibakol, da bżon lajnuna tiegħek. Imma għaraw x'attitudni differenti. Għart li inti titkellmu Taljan u tila iva, il-flight kien minn Ruma għal Toronto, 9 sigħat u nofs. Għart li għaxaw wieħed, kienet tiegħek, kellu forsi 73 sena, għart li kien fuq l-aeroplan, kif taf l-aeroplan it-tardja, tad-dar tiegħu ma ġewx għalih, jimporta ċemplilhom u tkellimhom bit-Taljan. Aha, issa irriflettu ftit hawnhekk. L-ospitalità flok l-integrazzjoni. Hawnhekk din il-mara naħseb li kellha kunċett qed topera ta' ospitalità, jiġifieri lili ma ratnix b'sens ta' deficit kif għamlet l-officer Kanadiża, imma ratni b'sens ta' possibilità, jiġifieri jiena għalkemm jien within quotes barrani għadni ġej għad mext fil-Kanada illi hemm biss 3 kwarti, rat possibilità li jiena nista' nofri lila u sintendi lill-komunità. Ġifiri, dawn huma l-ewwel żewġ esperjenzi tiegħi fil-Kanada u għadni nirrifletti fuqhom u sintendi ħanibni aktar. Poeżija malajl miktuba fl-1994 ħanaqra bl-Ingliż ħalli dawn ikunu jistgħu jifhmu wkoll u l-poeżija bil-Malti jisimha Għal dejjem bla rabta miktuba meta kont ngħix Halifax, Nova Scotia. Forever unbonded, I see and feel the pain and anger of the foreigner. You ying some kange rose, and I among them too. It seems forever alive, unbonded with this land. Aren't you notes, cracked bricks, strange accents, forever among the irony of have a nice day? Tara kif kont inħossni wara li għext il-Kanada mill-1977 għall-1994. Nerġa' mmorru l-qudiem. Jiena mort ngħix Montreal. Meta wasalt Montreal, dik il-ġimgħa li wasalt fis-17 ta' Wissu 1977 kienet għadha kif għaddiet il-famuża liġi Loi 5-1, Bill 101, fejn biha ma tistax tadvertizja pubblikament bl-Ingliż. Jiġifieri fuq il-ħwienet, fuq il-kodba, l-affarijiet pubbliċi kollha fi Quebec, il-provinċja ta' Quebec, iridu jkunu bil-Franċiż. L-Ingliż tista' tużah ġewwa imma mhux fil-pubbliku. Dak kien il-kontest. Mhux se noqgħod ninħebba wara subajja, jiena kont pro Parti Québecwa, ma nafx kelma bil-Franċiż, imma meta kont diġà rajt fuq din is-sitwazzjoni, bdejt naħdem mal-Parti Québecwa. Forsi l-influenza ta' l-antikolonjaliżmu li jiena trabba fija meta kont l-Università Malta mis-72 sa' 75. Mela, bdejt nitgħallem bil-Franċiż. Alla volja kont naf l-Ingliż u alla volja meggi l-Università Ingliża kollox bl-Ingliż bdejt immur mal-immigranti ġodda u nitgħallem il-Franċiż. Imma il-kondutturi u s-sewwieqa tal-karozzi tal-linja meta inkellimhom bl-Ingliż ma kinux jirrisponduni xejn. Allura bdejt inkellimhom bit-Taljan. Ħannara x'jiġri. Ma jkellmunix. Bdejt inkellimhom bil-Malti. Mbagħad jindunaw li jiena within quotes barrani. U mbagħad taf xi jagħmlu ikellmuni bl-Ingliż. Araw il-komplessità. Jiġifieri minn dik l-istrateġija li jiena użajt mingħajr ma kont naf x'qed nagħmel, indunaw li jiena within quotes barrani u m'għandix naqsam mal-kwistjoni tal-Ingliż u l-Franċiż u mbagħad bdew ikellmuni bl-Ingliż. Jiġifieri dana biex nagħmel il-punt illi rridu ma rridux il-kwistjoni tal-lingwa hija dejjem kwistjoni politika. Jiġifieri dejjem hemm relazzjoni ta' qawwa, relazzjoni fejn xi ħud min-nies jistgħu ikollhom aktar poter minn oħrajn, xi ħud ħajjiġu esklużi, oħrajn ħajjiġu inklużi, xi ħud jiġu marginalizzati u oħrajn jitqawwaw bl-użu tal-lingwa. Issa il-każ ta' Malta, l-aħwa, hemm ħafna xtejt, imma domandi mhux retoriċi dawn, imma domandi verament riflessivi. U għandna bżonn naħseb nirriflettu fuqhom b'mod kritiku u b'mod miftuħ. Meta jiena mmur restorant biex jistennew li jiena għandi nitkellem. Jekk immur ħadd-Ingli jistennew li għandi nitkellem bl-Ingliż jew bil-Malti. U jekk immur taslima. X'jiġri meta jiena nkun f'restorant u nitkellem bil-Malti u jibqgħu ċassi lejja? Qed jilagħbu l-logħba li kienu jilagħbu s-sewwieqa tal-karozzi tal-linja f'Montreal. Jekk fuq ix-xogħol hemm barranin li ma jifhmux il-Malti u aħna nitkellmu biss il-Malti, ħanoħolqu problemi ta' saħħa u problemi ta' esklużjoni. Kif ħossuhom il-ġenituri meta d-direzzjonijiet li joħorġu mill-iskejjel ikunu kollha bil-Malti biss jew bl-Ingliż biss u huma jitkellmu b'lingwi oħra. Jiena meta mort Montreal, mort biex nistudja mal-psikoloġista soċjali Wally Lambert li miet 3 snin ilu, li kien ġie Malta fl-1976 għal konferenza li kienet saret fl-Università dik is-sena mhux fuq il-bilingwaliżmu imma fuq il-multilingwaliżmu. U hu kien beda jagħmel l-ewwel esperimenti tal-French immersion fi Quebec u minn dak iż-żmien issa il-mitoloġiji illi jekk titgħallem 2, 3, 4 lingwi f'salt inti mhux ħatimxi l-qudiem dika saret mitoloġija. Imma jiddispjaċini ngħid għataw mentalitajiet anke f'Malta illi jaħsbu jekk ħad titgħallem fl-istess ħin aktar mill-lingwa waħda ħad tagħmel ħsara l-isfal tiegħek. Mhux veru. Jiena t-tfal tiegħi jridu ma rridux id-dar dejjem bil-Malti tkellimt, Montreal, Halifax u l-aħħar 18 sena Toronto. Sintendi għandi l-vantaġġ li l-mara tiegħi Maltija. Allura nistgħu nitkellmu bil-Malti. Issa, niġu għal-tieni punt. Integrazzjoni, assimilazzjoni. Jiena kif qed qabel ma naħsibx illi l-integrazzjoni ħataħdem, ma rajtix taħdem il-Kanada. Issa il-Kanada hija pajjiż li huwa magħruf għal multikulturaliżmu li jenna nwettqu mill-1960. U hemm il-mitoloġija li l-Kanada hija pajjiż ideali li leħqet l-anijiet ideali tal-multikulturaliżmu. Mingħajr ma nkun kattiv u meta it-tfal tiegħi jismawni ngħid dan jgħidu imminti l-Kanada toboda. Le, l-Kanada ma nobodix. Imma li hu rridu ngħiduh kif inhu. L-ideal tal-multikulturaliżmu fil-Kanada falla. Ir-razziżmu għadu jeżisti daqskemm kien jekk mhux aktar u issa jeżisti taħt il-mantra tal-multikulturaliżmu. allura huwa aktar diffiċli biex wieħed jarfu u biex wieħed jiġġilidlu. Għalhekk jiena dejjem niddubita jekk għandniex nużaw l-integrazzjoni jew le. Issa, l-ospitalità. L-ospitalità mhijiex azzjoni ta' karità. L-ospitalità hija azzjoni fejn jiena nemmen li jiena neżisti biss jekk jiena għandi relazzjoni ma' nies oħrajn u vice versa. Jiena u l-ieħor u l-oħra. L-oħra ma tistax teżisti mingħajr relazzjoni miegħi. Issa l-punt huwa x'tip ta' relazzjoni etika aħna għandna nadottaw. Mhux kull relazzjoni hija etika. Domanda diffiċli, imma hija domanda li speċjalment bħalissa f'Malta għandna dejjem aħna nikkonsidraw. Kemm 3 minuti. All right. Mela, kont se nirreferi għall-istorja qasira ta' Camus, The Guest, fejn Camus meta jiġi l-arbi li m'għandux isem dik kwistjoni oħra, imma jibda jippreparalu l-ikel u jibda jippreparalu fejn jorqod u tinsewx ta' kien ħabsi minn qradi u l-ħabsi l-arbi jgħid lill-teacher hemmhekk għalfejn qed tipprepara l-ikel. U t-teacher jgħidu għax issa sar ħin għall-ikel. U l-ieħor mistaġeb għax hu ħabsi jgħid jaħseb li m'għandux jiekol, imma il-għalliem kellu idea ta' ospitalità. Il-Sindku ta' Londra, Sadiq Khan, jgħidilna ċaruton fil-quote li għandkom hemm fuq mhux se naqra kollha, il-problemi tal-assimilizzazzjoni illi naħseb għandna nevitaw, imma mbagħad in-nies jgħidu le l-integrazzjoni mhijiex assimilation, hija imma skont kif wieħed jinterpreta l-integrazzjoni. Hemm forum ta' integrazzjoni li fil-fatt fir-realtà jammontaw għal assimilazzjoni. Issa, imma mekk ħajjiġri hekk, x'ħajjiġri mill-identitajiet? Tgħidilu allura inti wara 40 sena ma integrajtx il-Kanada, ċertu affarijiet integrajt, imma ċertu affarijiet ma integrajtx ta' mhux se noqgħod ninħeba, in-neoliberalizmu u l-individwalizmu eċċessiv kapitalista fil-Kanada jiena ma naċċettax. Meta sħabi nibda nitkellem kif qed nitkellem issa, indunajt mill-1982 fl-universitajiet, mal-ewwel bdew jittimbrawni bħala dak il-professur minn Mediterran li jitlalu għar-rasu. Għalax bdejt nagħmel. U hawnhekk kwistjonijiet ta' identità dejjem inġorr il-pinnu li miegħi biex nagħmel waħda taħt irsieni ħalli nikkalma ħalli mbagħad ma jarawnix din il-konstruzzjoni. Imma dix integrazzjoni li qed tkisser l-identità u wieħed irid jieħu l-pinnoli biex jiġi aċċettat u ma jiġux kostruit bħala kważi miġnun mill-Mediterran. Dawn huma problemi serji, jiġifieri hu. Issa, jiena mhux qed ngħid li m'għandix il-privileġġi tiegħi, of course, ma intendi li għandi il-privileġġi tiegħi bħala nisrani, bħala heterosexual, bħala nitkellem 6 lingwi, dawn huma kollha privileġġi. Immaġina xi ħadd li m'għandux dawn il-privileġġi. U mbagħad xi ngħidu għall-Kanada, studenti barranin jitkellmu 3 lingwi oħra, iridu jagħmlu l-eżami tal-Ingliż u tal-Franċiż meta jaslu grade 11, jeħlu minn dawn u x'jittimbrawhom li dawn huma studenti illitterati. Mela jekk ma tgħaddix mill-eżami tal-Ingliż jew l-Franċiż inti illitterat, u x'ngħidu għall-lingwi l-oħra li jitkellmu? Imma dawn huma problemi serji ta' razziżmu u għalhekk jiena ngħid il-multikulturalizmu u l-interkulturalizmu mhumiex biżżejjed. Għandna bżonn nieħdu pożizzjoni qawwija ħafna antirazzista mibnija fuq l-ospitalità jekk aħna tassew rridu noħolqu relazzjonijiet etiċi. Esperjenza tal-aħħar għandi ħafna aktar xnejt. Esperjenza oħra tal-aħħar tat-tifel tiegħi. Mela t-tifel meta beda l-iskola ta' 5 snin, wara xarejn ġie lura d-dar, jien kellimtu bil-Malti u għalli what the hell dad? No point speaking Maltese. Hekk għalli mal-ewwel ta' jiġifieri wara xarejn il-Madonna l-indottrinazzjoni tal-iskejjel, kont naf li ħadd jiġri xi trid tagħmel. All right, mela. U jiena rrispondejtu bil-Malti. U baqa ikellimni bl-Ingliż u minn dik narraw jiena nkellmu bil-Malti u jkellimni bl-Ingliż. Ma jimpurtax. Okay. U llum jirringrazzjani li komplejt nkellmu bil-Malti. Meta wasal grade 4 kellu 10 snin, f'April, kien għadhom kif ġew grupp ta' emigranti Halifax fejn konna noqogħdu minn Kuwait wara l-invażjoni tal-Kuwait fl-1991. U ġiddar wara l-ofsinar, fl-4 ta' l-ofsinar. U x'taħsbu li beda jagħmel? Beda jkellimni bil-Malti. U jiena kelli jabtit ngħidu WTF għalfejn tkellimni World Trade Federation, ta' x'qed taħsbu. Okay. Moħħkom ħażin istra. Daw translations, okay. Mela. U għetlu, għalfejn tkellimni għalli le, għalli istra kien biddilt għetlu x'ġara. Għalli il-kap tal-iskola induna li jien qed nikkomunika u nitkellem ma' tfal tal-Kuwait għax jien biss stajt nifhimhom sejjaħ li l-uffiċċju biex inkun interpretu mal-ġenituri. Min dik narlaw il-perspettiva tiegħu tal-Malti tbidlet għal kollox. Assolutament tbidlet għal kollox biex taraw il-kuntest. Imma ġifieri dan it-tifel li tgħallem illi dawn ukoll għandhom xi ħaġa x'joffru għalih u l-punt tiegħi tal-ospitalità mibni sintendi fuq il-filosofija ta' Derrida u Levinas ta' Camus ukoll mhux se noqgħod ninħeba ma' xejn oriġinari minn naħa tiegħi huwa illi jiena insir li jien biss b'relazzjoni ma' ħaddieħor u jekk jiena lil ħaddieħor ma narax bħala oġġett, ma narax bħala burokrazija, imma narah bħala possibilitajiet. 40 sena wara il-Kanada, vera ħan ispiċċa. Bejn hawn u hemm. Naqraw bl-Ingliż, bil-Franċiż jew bil-Malti. Bil-Malti, mela, dina ktibta xahar ilu wara li għalaqt 40 sena il-Kanada. Bejn hawn u hemm. Bejn hawn u hemm 40 sena. Bejn hawn u hemm baħar jaqsam. Bejn hawn u hemm id-dar mirduma. Bejn hawn u hemm bniedem ieħor. Bejn hawn u hemm valiġġi minsija. Bejn hawn u hemm daqna bajda. Bejn hawn u hemm identità imħalta. Bejn hawn u hemm boxla mitlufa. Bejn hawn u hemm ideali imħandma. Bejn hawn u hemm qabar imwitti. Bejn hawn u hemm ikolli nibqa' nittama.
Grazie. Ħarbinna l-ħin, naraw mux ħansaqsu mistoqsijiet issa, nħallu l-mistoqsijiet għal waqt il-pawza tal-kafe. Grazzi.